If you're just getting started working in DaVinci Resolve, then chances are you probably want to start to bring in some text to your videos. And it's really easy to do so. In this video, I'll show you a couple of ways to do that. To varying results, some a little bit more flashy than others, but don't worry, it's all really simple. Now, if you haven't already subscribed to the Envato Tuts Plus YouTube channel, make sure you hit that big red subscribe button down below as we're putting out helpful content like this daily. Now, I said we can get some more complex text results here in DaVinci Resolve, and we're gonna do that with a little help from our friends at Envato Elements. Now, Envato Elements is a super easy to use subscription service that gives you access to millions of digital assets that you can download and use in your projects right away. And of course, we're talking about things like video templates, which we'll see in this tutorial, as well as stock footage, photography, music, fonts. There's so much on there, so check out the link in the description below today to have a look at Envato Elements. All right, let's open up DaVinci Resolve. So I've just got this piece of footage here from Envato Elements. This couple riding their motorbike along, in the kind of sunny afternoon light. Looks pretty good. Now let's say we want to put a title on it. Let's just say we want to do a basic title that says motorcycle to start with. Well, the first thing we need to do is we go up to the effects panel, just up here on the top left. So we hit effects, and you can see here under toolbox, you've got titles, and then it gives you some options up here under the basic titles. So we've got things like left lower third, middle lower third, right lower third. And as you can see, as I'm moving my mouse over these, you get a little bit of a preview over on the right hand side here. If I go to one that's animated, like scroll, and move my mouse back and forward to the left and right over scroll, you'll see that has an animated scroll. But then what we're really looking at here is text and text plus. Now text, let me drag this on. Text is basically a rich text editor, and Text Plus is basically a Fusion version of the same. Now, Fusion being the motion graphics kind of VFX compositing tool that is in DaVinci Resolve, and the Text Plus titles is more geared towards motion graphics and things like that. So a lot more animation options and a lot more properties that you can change on Text Plus versus just the basic text. Now, if you do want just basic text, let's go ahead and make something here. We'll just make it say motorcycle. And let's do it in a cooler font. So highlighting that and going to a font that we want to use and sizing that up as much as we want. And let's just change the color to something a little bit more sunsetty. That looks pretty cool. And then for instance, you can add a stroke to that. So we'll change the color of the stroke and add that on the outside there. What else have we got? All your basic rich text editing functions that you are used to working in other programs, not even post-production programs, but just things like Google Docs or things of that nature. We can add other things like backgrounds. So let's just add like a little background border here. And we can change the color of that. Let's make it like a blue or something. That looks cool. And we'll change the outline color to white. So there you go, that's a pretty basic text piece there. I'll just drop my effects away here so we can see that in full. So we've got that text piece there, and you can do little animations within this. So you can see anything with a keyframe next to it, we can animate. So for instance, let's say we can animate the position. We'll go to the start of our playhead here. We'll hit a little keyframe there. We'll move to the end and we'll just bring that down. And you'll see that now we've got that animating along the screen. It's pretty basic. The other thing with Text Plus is that you can actually just move things around on the screen with your mouse. You can resize and scale different elements and move them left or right or change the angle. You can do that all on screen, whereas Text Plus, you can't do that. So I'm clicking on here and I can't do that. But what I can do, so let's go here and we'll call this motorcycle yet again. And again, we'll change it to the same that we had before. So now, as opposed to the text, if we click into that, we can't keyframe anything over here in terms of our size and our tracking and things like that. But if we go into Text Plus, you can see that we now have keyframes for all of these elements. But not only that, we have some other advanced controls along the top here. So if we look at our layout, we've got different things here. So if we can do a circle, and there you go. We've got our text now based around a circle, and you can kind of change where things sit. So something like that would be really cool. And you can, of course, animate all of this as well. So if I go to the start and I just add a keyframe here, and then go to the end and add a keyframe as well, and we can now see that that's animating across as we go. So not only that, we can go and play with different things like the transform properties. You can transform per character, word, or line. You've got different things for rotation, shear, size. I'll let you go through and play with all of these different things. There's a lot of options in our Text Plus base here. Shading's really fun, so you can go and do your outlines and things like that here. You can change the blending modes. You can do all of that kind of stuff. But what you can also do, if you go back into the normal text layer here, you can do other things like write on. So let me just clear the circular nature of what we've just made. We'll just change this back to how it was at the start. So if we go to the start here and we go down to write on, let's hit a keyframe at the start and we'll bring that all the way down. So just the M is there. We'll go to the end and we'll pull that all the way out as well. That's added a keyframe. So now we can see that this typewriter is on, and you can obviously change the speed of how that comes on as well. And you can add some sound effects and things like that if you want a bit of a typewriter feel. So that is how you use the basic text and text plus functions within DaVinci Resolve. But what happens if you don't want to animate all of this by yourself and you want to add some more flashy titles to your project? Well, let's just delete these two here and we'll go back up into our effects. You can see here I've got Fusion titles. If I open that up, you'll see I've got a whole bunch now. So let's just scroll through a few and you'll start to see them playing on the right-hand side. So we've got this one like jitter, for example, scale up lower third, slide in and down, text box with a slide in. So you can see that these ones are animated. And if I just drop this over here and play it through, you'll see that animates on. So let's just change the title here. We'll call it, we'll just be a bit fun here. So we've just customized that nice and simply there. If we pull this one on here to do something a little bit different, again, add our motorcycle title on there, and let's play this through. So now we've got two very different animated titles with barely any work and two very different feelings. But what happens if you don't like the ones that are here? Well, that's where our friends Envato Elements come into play. So if you go to Envato Elements and you go up to video templates, and because we're working in DaVinci Resolve, head down to DaVinci Resolve right here and then click titles. Let's just browse through, or you can just grab whatever. Let's just grab this first one here, Colorful Titles DaVinci Resolve. So I've already downloaded those. They're just sitting in my downloads folder here. Now I'm going to show you the process on Mac. On PC, it's basically exactly the same. You've just got to navigate to the corresponding PC folders, but I can only show you on a Mac. But if you do want to learn more about how to do it on PC, just let me know in the comments and I can try to help you through that there. So all you got to do when you get a template like this from Envato Elements, it comes in a zip file. You just unzip it. It'll come through with a few different things. Most of them will come through with guides and they'll tell you exactly how to do this. But we've also got all of our project files and things like that. So what we're looking for DaVinci Resolve specifically is these ones that have .setting at the end. Now you do need to put them in a specific place on your hard drive, your boot drive on your computer. So I'll go over here into titles and we'll work backwards and show you exactly where they need to be. Now these ones here, I've got them in DaVinci Resolve already. So you'll see down here, I've got creative lower third, kinetic, minimal callout, etc., and that's corresponding to here. So let's move back through our file tree here and we'll go all the way back. So we start here at our main hard drive. We then go into library, application support, Blackmagic Design, DaVinci Resolve, Fusion, templates, edit, titles, and then we create our own folder here. It's a little bit of a hassle, but trust me, once you've done this, they all sit nice and snugly in DaVinci Resolve and you can just drag them, drop them onto your timeline and it's really simple. So we'll just right click here, create a new folder. We're gonna call this colorful. And we're just going to grab these, Command A, and we'll just drag them in so that they're there. Now they're not gonna automatically show up in DaVinci Resolve. We will have to restart the program. So let's just save this and quit. And then we'll reopen DaVinci Resolve. So now you can see if I go down here, we've got colorful titles. So let's just mouse over them and you'll see they're already loaded in our project. So we can just drag and drop them now onto our project. So let's just find one that we like and that we want to use. Let's do this one. We'll just drag it on and we'll again type motorcycle, and this one's given us two options. So instead of very easy motorcycle, let's scroll down to the next part and be like, let's go very cool motorcycle. So now we've got a whole bunch of different options that we can change here as it animates on. We've got this gradient that happens here. You can change the different colors of the gradient. You can change the speed at which they animate on. You can change the height. You can change the width. You know, like let's play around with the box there. We want it all the way out and we want it much bigger, which we don't because it will overlap with things, but you've got the options and someone else has made this for you. They've created all of these titles, they've put them up onto Envato Elements and you can download them and you can use them in your projects right away. You saw how easy it was for us to go from downloading them to adding them to our project, to dragging, dropping, and then customizing them. in really no time at all. So there you go. That's how you add different titles to DaVinci Resolve, either using the text or text plus functions within the program, or by grabbing some third-party creative assets from places like Envato Elements. So I hope that helped you in your journey with working in DaVinci Resolve. It's a super, super accessible program. Obviously, I'm working in the studio version here. You can see at the bottom, I'm working in the public beta, but the free version, all of these tools that I've just shown you today will work in the free version. It's a lot of fun. You can dive very deep, as you can see over here, on all of the different things that we can change within this preset. And then you saw in Text Plus and text as well. So jump into the program, have a play around. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. And also don't be afraid to let me know in the comments how you're getting along with DaVinci Resolve and adding your titles. Now, again, like I mentioned at the start of the video, if you're not already subscribed to the Envato Tuts Plus YouTube channel, we love having new members of our community. All we want to do is teach you how to do different creative things completely for free right here on YouTube. So click that red button down below that says subscribe today. All right, until next time, happy editing.